Arena for this first matchup of our Summit League season, not South Dakota State Summit League season, but here at KSDJ Radio. This is our first broadcast for the Summit League this season and the first broadcast of 2023. The South Dakota State Jackrabbits taking on the University of South Dakota Coyotes. Braden Byers alongside Paul Monson. Paul, glad to have you back here.
Oh, it's a great game to be back for, too. You know, the South Dakota Showdown series?
Nothing gets better. Nothing gets better. Earlier this year, had a sellout crowd for football between these two schools. Also had record attendance for the volleyball game between these two schools earlier this year. We've got 10 minutes, and there's already quite a bit of people in here.
The only sections that aren't quite full in the stadium so far are the student sections, but they got guaranteed tickets kind of spots, so they don't have to worry about it as much.
They don't have to show up and everything like that. Well, today we got a little bit of a double dip happening. The women playing here, the Coyotes and the Jackrabbits, and then down in Vermillion later today, the men are going to be playing there as well. So looking forward to that. Great day of college basketball. It's looking like it's going to be a great atmosphere here. Let's go ahead and dive into this matchup and take a look at these two teams. Of course, beyond these two just being separated by, what, an hour and a half, 2 hours?
Give or take. Depends how much you speed.
Exactly. And the great historic rivalry, the South Dakota Showdown. Beyond that, this is a rematch of the Summit League Championship last year.
That was a really important game and a really fun one to watch, too. Last year, USD ended up winning, sending them into the NCAA tournament. SJSU ended up staying for WNAT. I remember all of those games here. Yeah. Fantastic tournament. SJSU women played fantastically to end their season and ultimately bring home a championship.
Yeah, and both of these teams, after that conference tournament, went on to have a bunch of success. The Coyotes making it to the Elite Eight, and the Jackrabbits winning the Women's National Invitational Tournament. So both of these teams are back. South Dakota, a little bit different looking this year. 8-9 overall so far in the year, 4-2 in the Summit League, while the Jackrabbits overall have seemed to keep up their success. 13-5 overall and 6-0 in conference.
Yeah, you're used to seeing these two teams be kind of 1-2 in the Summit League. So South Dakota hasn't fallen too far down, only being the number 3 in the Summit League play, but they're still up there.
Yeah, but you know the Coyotes are going to give the Jackrabbits their best game. This is the 97th all-time meeting between these two schools in women's basketball, the first since USD joined the Summit League in 2011 and 2012 season. SDSU leads all time 61-35 and 16-14 in the Summit League. So the yellow and blue do have the upper hand, but the red and white have always played them close, and it's definitely not that lopsided.
No, it's a pretty close game. It'll just be interesting to see USD losing a couple key players, SJSU losing 1 or 2 from last year, key players that is, from this matchup in the championship game. Be interesting to see how these differences on teams, they're slightly different, play out this time.
And the Jackrabbits, one big storyline of this, they're back here in Brookings. In Frost Arena this season, they are 8-1 and have won 9 of their last 10 games here in Brookings. And 2 of those games were against the North Dakota schools last week, where they averaged 99.5 points and shot nearly 57% versus those schools. They averaged 11 more rebounds than usual and 12 more assists than their opponent.
Both of those, I was there for both of those games. Both clean games played by the SJSU. Kind of cluttered it up a little bit with some extra turnovers towards the end of the game, but overall, very clean game for the women, both of those 2 games, and for South Dakota State over North Dakota in general, with the wins with the women here and then that all-important win in Frisco.
Yeah, well, the Coyotes, a little bit of turnover happening. There are currently only 5 active USD players that have competed versus SDSU. That's Ugovsky, Giebert, Hansen, Hempy, and Larkins. Those are the only ones that have played against South Dakota State. Carly Duffney and Nicole Avila Ambrosi are a couple people to look out for. They combined for 40 points in 2 games off of the bench last week as they also played the North Dakota schools. Duffney had 12 points versus UND and had 10 versus NDSU, while Avila Ambrosi had 7 steals versus UND and shot 6 for 9 from three-point range.
Certainly some players for USD to look out for.
Also, Grace Larkins, another one to look out for. She, alongside Iowa's Caitlin Clark, is the only D1 player. Those two are the only Division I women's basketball players to average more than 18 points, more than 6 rebounds, and more than 4 assists per game. And Larkins is the only one of those 5 that have played against SDSU with starting experience against SDSU. So a lot of new faces going to be coming for this Coyote team. I'm excited for this matchup. How about you?
Oh, we're ready to go. Teams are out on the floor warming up. You might have heard the pet band playing the school song, and now the alma mater here.
Yep.
We're ready to go.
Well, we'll go ahead and step aside for a little bit of a break. When we come back, we'll detail these teams' last games and then look ahead forward to this matchup. You're listening to the South Dakota Showdown Series on KSDJ Radio.
I was in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean when it happened. There was a sudden jolt and our submarine crashed on the seafloor. We were in total darkness.
That's Dr. Dejana Figueroa, a marine biologist and STEM teacher, talking about a deep sea dive she'll never forget.
It's funny, when I was a kid, I was afraid of the ocean. And there I was, 2 miles below the surface. But as a scientist, you prepare for that. Using our training and a little creativity, we fixed the sub and finished our experiments. The dive was just too important. Every dive gives us glimpses at things few people ever get to see. Glowing creatures, fiery undersea volcanoes. When we got back to the surface, I kissed the ground and called my mom, of course. But you know what? I wouldn't trade that dive for anything.
Dr. Figueroa uses her passion for STEM to discover new things and make the world a better place. She can STEM, so can you. Check out She Can STEM for more stories and inspiration. A message from the Ad Council.
This portion of KSDJ 90.7's broadcast is brought to you by Guadalajara's. Located at 1715 6th Street in the Village Square Mall, Guadalajara specializes in authentic Mexican cuisine. Guadalajara's opens at 11 a.m. every day and closes at 10 p.m. Monday through Thursday, at 10:45 p.m. on Fridays and Saturdays, and at 9:30 p.m. on Sundays. Weekly margarita specials are offered Monday through Wednesday. Guadalajara's, a proud sponsor of KSDJ 90.7.
South Dakota Showdown Series here on KSDJ Radio. Glad to have you along with us. Let's go ahead and take a look at these both of these teams' last games. Start with the Coyotes. They took on North Dakota State, losing 79-76 in a close one. NDSU outscored them 9-1 in the final 2 minutes. That's what pushed them over the edge. And USD had won 13 of the last. Had won the last 13, meetings with the Bison.
That was definitely a game we were keeping close eye on. We're sitting in media row watching UND down here. We were celebrating. USD kind of started tipping down at the end.
Yeah, well, North Dakota was down here in Brookings last week, and that was the Jacks' last game. They won big, 105-72 on January 7th. They advanced to a 6-0 conference record, and Maya Selland was 10 for 12 on shooting, had 7 three-pointers. She was going off.
The SDSU women definitely took out of the gates really quickly at that first NDSU game. Slowed down a little bit in the second quarter, but picked it back up in the second half and never looked back.
Yeah, well, USD is currently sitting at 4th in the conference in scoring offense and 3rd in scoring defense, but SDSU actually leads the conference in field goal percentage with .459, and they have the best scoring offense and scoring defense, as well as having the best scoring margin, 21.8.
Well, it helps when Maya Selland is averaging 16.6 and Peyton Burkhart's 10.7 points per game. Big scorers down low, and as you mentioned, MySL and being able to damage the other team from beyond the arc.
Yeah, for sure. Well, hey, we're going to have the national anthem here coming up, and then the starting lineups. When we come back, we'll give you the starting lineups, take a look at them, and then we'll get into this matchup. Thank you for joining us here on KSDJ Radio. We'll be back right after this.
If you're worried your friend may be struggling, remember, you don't have to be there to be there.
You could say, how are you, or get a fake tattoo. You could ask with an app if it works for you. You could write him a text or knit him a sweater. If you can't be together, you could write him a letter. Whatever gets you talking. Whatever gets you talking. You could chat on the game, kick off your flip-flops. You could ask on your couch while you binge watch. However you do it, you gotta ask a friend. And if they don't share, you can ask again. Whatever gets you talking. Whatever gets you talking.
Reach out to a friend about their mental health. Learn how you can help at seizetheawkward.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council, American Foundation for Suicide Prevention, and the JED Foundation.
This portion of KSDJ 90.7's broadcast is brought to you by Guadalajara's. Located at 1715 6th Street in the Village Square Mall, Guadalajara's specializes in authentic Mexican cuisine. Guadalajara's opens at 11 a.m. every day and closes at 10 p.m. Monday through Thursday, at 10:45 p.m. on Fridays and Saturdays, and at 9:30 p.m. on Sundays. Weekly margarita specials are offered Monday through Wednesday. Guadalajara's, a proud sponsor of KSDJ 90.7.
Thank you.
Well, the national anthem has come and gone, and just as we suspected, looking out on the crowd, it's kind of busy in here, huh?
There's maybe single-digit empty seats. It's a little bit of an exaggeration.
Yeah, a little bit, but it's pretty packed here. Well, welcome back to South Dakota Showdown Series. South Dakota versus South Dakota State. Currently Maya Selland at half court being recognized for being part of the Coach Wooden Citizen Cup. Selland, an absolutely amazing basketball player on the court, but I would say personally, from what I've gathered and what I know of her, an even better person off the court.
She's always the nicest person you see. Just last week after the UND game, I saw her at Culver's with her family. She was just talking to the people that were around and all iced up and everything from the game, but still as nice as you could be.
Yep, Selland, the pride of Letcher, South Dakota, and really the South Dakota State women's basketball program as a whole. The, 6th year?
Something like that.
Senior? She's been here for forever.
Been a staple in this offense.
Well, she obviously is one of the starters for the Jackrabbits. Let's go ahead and start with the Coyotes starters. A 5'8" senior guard from Apple Valley, Minnesota. She started all 18 games now. She averages 33.2 minutes. Number 3, Macy Giebert. And a 6-foot sophomore forward from Sioux Falls, South Dakota, from Lincoln High School. She leads the team in free throw percentage with 938 and three-point percentage with 390. Number 10, Morgan Hansen. The 5'9" sophomore guard from Altoona, Iowa. She leads the team in a lot of categories: points, rebounds, assists, and she started all 18 games. She also is one of the top players in the Summit League. Number 21, Grace Larkins. The 6'1" freshman center from Grafton, North Dakota, up there with the spoilers. Had to throw that in there just because I know it. She averages 6.6 points per game. She graduated high school a year early to enroll at USD. Number 24, Walker Demers. And the 6-foot redshirt sophomore forward from Fredericksburg, Virginia. She started all 18 games so far this year. A 2,000-point scorer in high school, number 41, Alexi Hempy. The Coyotes are coached by Kayla Carius in her first season. She has an 8-9 record. She was a former assistant under Don Plitzuet from 2016 to 2018. She received the Women's Basketball Coaches Association 30 Under 30 Award in 2018, and she was also the former associate head coach at Wisconsin from 2018 to 2019. Well, time to take a look at the Jackrabbits. 13-5 overall, 6-0 in the Summit. Starting the 5'10" graduate student from a guard from Rapid City, South Dakota, recently playing at Utah from St. Thomas More High School. She leads the team in assists and free throw percentage. She played 5 seasons at Utah before transferring. Number 10, Drew Gilton, a 5'11" sophomore guard, also from Rapid City, South Dakota, and St. Thomas More High School. Started all 19 games so far for the Jacks. She was named to the 2022 WNIT All-Tournament team. Number 13, Haley Timmer, a 6'1" junior forward from Mendota Heights, Minnesota. She's also started all 19 games so far. Number 20, Tori Nelson, 6-foot senior forward from Aberdeen, South Dakota. She has started all 19 games as well. Number 33, Peyton Burkhardt. And of course, the aforementioned 6'1" redshirt senior forward from Letcher, South Dakota. She leads the team in points, rebounds, three-point percentage, and minutes played per game. And she started all 19 games so far. She's the reigning Summit League Peak Performer of the Week with 27 points per game, 6 rebounds per game, and 3 assists per game last week. Number 44, Maya Selland. The South Dakota State Jackrabbits are coached by Aaron Johnston in his 23rd season. 555 and 184 record from Gustavus Adolphus, where he went to college, a 450 and 151 record in Division I. He was also the Division II national champion in 2003. The year I was born, by the way, to put that in perspective of how long he's been here.
Just a couple years, 2003.
2003,
there we go.
Well, again, going to run through them real quick for the Coyotes. Giebert, Larkins, Hansen, Hempy, and Demers. For the Jackrabbits, Gilton, Timmer, Nelson, Burkhardt, and Selland. Well, Selland and Demers up to tip here. Our referees for this game, Nick Marshall, Amy Kromhoek, and Timothy Resch. Nick Marshall puts it up, and the Coyotes control it, moving from right to left from our vantage point here on Media Row. They work it up to the top. Giebert has it, gives it over right to Larkins. Now back up top, finds its way. Giebert again, driving, left side, spinning around. Gives it out. Hansen, driving, loses it. Gets it back up top. A 3-ball from Hempy, and she knocks it down.
Lots of extra congested traffic by the Jacks, setting it up and forcing the pass outside. Unfortunately, it turned into a 3-ball.
The Jacks in business now, trailing 3-0 early. Burkhardt up top for 3. That one a little bit too hard. Back irons off and falls down to the Yotes. The Yotes are in their away all red uniforms with black and white trim. Another step back 3 from Hempy. This one will not go. Falls down to Burkhardt. Feeds it ahead to Gilton. Moving left to right now, the Jackrabbits in their home all-white uniforms with yellow and blue trim. And we get our first foul call of the night.
Great pace by Gilton to force the Coyote defense just to get in the way, and there's nothing more they could do except extend their arms, and she knew what to do from there.
Macy Giebert gets the foul call on her. The call coming from Amy Kromnen-Hoek. First free throw from Gilton misses. Drew Gilton, as I mentioned before, played 5 seasons at Utah before transferring to be closer at home. She knocks that one through, goes 1 for 1, currently leads the team with .870 free throw percentage. The Jacks trail it 1-3, currently is dribbling with her left hand as Larkins trying to drive, gets stopped on the low block, now gets it out Hansen, driving left-handed and left side baseline, stopping underneath the basket, can't get it to go, a lot of defense up in her face, and another whistle now.
Coyotes, after that last miss, are now 1 for 3 from the field after hitting their first one.
And that's uncharacteristic of this Jackrabbit team. .459 field goal percentage to lead the conference. And now a 3-ball coming from the right baseline, overshot by Nelson. Coming back the opposite way, Larkins driving to the basket, puts it in, and another whistle.
That'll be the first basket for Larkins off of the right block. Just driving into 3 Jackrabbit defenders, able to control herself enough with the contact to get the ball to just kind of spin on the top of the rim and fall in.
Well, Haley Timmer, Drew Gilton called for the foul, the first for the Jackrabbits, and her first, as that one stays true. 6-1, the Yotes coming out to a hot start here in Brookings. Up top to Tori Nelson. Gives it Selland left side, now inside to Burkhart. Pump fakes and decides to take it, overshoots the basket a lot, and they can't get anything to fall here early.
0 for 3 from the field so far for the Jackrabbits.
Larkins up top, barking orders, gives it Hansen left side, inside the post to Duffney, who's in the game for the Yotes. Too hard, and it bounces out. The board down to Burkhart, feet ahead to Nelson, driving, switches hands out to Gilton, thought about the 3, decided to cut inside, gives it to Timmer now. Driving, spinning, gives it out to Selland. Shot clock down to 16 now, Gilton right wing, too hard, back irons off and falls down to Hempy.
Most of these Jackrabbit shots are just going a little too long. Jackrabbits must have eaten their Wheaties this morning.
Hansen, Larkin now shadowing the right wing. They'll call a travel. She did take 1 too many steps there as she was getting ready to cut inside. The Jacks down 6-1. 7.5 minutes left to go in the first.
Paige Myers enters the game. Take over point guard position.
Meyer driving with the right hand, handoff Selland. Now Timmer, left side. Gives in, Burkhart spins around, puts it up, and the first field goal by the Jackrabbits of the night finally cuts the lead in half now. Although not very big, 6-3. Hempy driving inside and a travel called.
Too much extra pressure by the Jackrabbits there. I think 3 defenders got around the ball handler there. Just making her a little too uneasy.
Moving left to right, Paige Myers. She returned to the lineup versus Oral Roberts on December 19th after being out because of injury all year, and they find Maya Selland on the inside, and they seem to have maybe found a little bit of rhythm.
It's back-to-back baskets for the Jackrabbits, coming from the left block first and then the right block. 2 close inside shots for the Jackrabbits to get this offense going.
6-5 now, the lead cut to 1. Larkins takes the 3 ball. It falls a little bit short. The rebound falls down to Duffney. She puts it up and is good and gets the call.
She now has 1 for 2 for her for 4 points. She must have a couple free throws here.
That's going to be the second team foul for the Jackrabbits as Duffney puts that one through. 9-5. The Coyotes lead it here, ticking down to 6:10 left to go in the first. Burkhart in the post, trying to spin around. Timmer now for 3, knocks it down.
With that basket, she takes over the team lead in scoring with 3 points. Still, Jackrabbits need it.
Definitely need it. Still down of 1. The Jackrabbits are currently now 3 of 3. 3 of their last 3, excuse me. Driving inside, Duffney can't get enough power behind it. Board falls down to Burkhart. She gives it forward. Paige Meyer swerving and cutting and tried inside. Circles back around. Goes all the way around the perimeter inside. Selin bounces. Reverse side layup. Gets the basket. Falls down. The hoop and the harm for Selin.
She just seemed to hang in the air, jumping from about the middle of the paint to she landed outside the lane when she finally came back down to the earth.
And finally, the Jackrabbits, for the first time today, have the lead, 10-9. Selland at the free throw line as Grace Larkins gets her first foul, the 3rd foul for the Coyotes. The basket goes through for Selland. Currently sitting with 5 points. Aaliyah Ambrosi gives it inside to Duffney. Now tried to get it back to Ambrosi. Can't get it. The ball's on the floor. Multiple players on the floor. The Jackrabbits now in transition. Looking to catch the Coyotes off guard. Paige Meyer. Kick out to Tyson. A little bit short. It rims off and falls down to Hanson. Driving now, the Sioux Falls Lincoln alumni. Duffney can't get it to go. Good defense on the opposite side. Brooklyn Meyer getting in on that action. Timmer gets it, and the foul again. A lot of and-one opportunities in this game so far, and the Jackrabbits finally getting some things going here.
Pushing the pace. I was just going to mention, too, that Peyton had come out of the game. Burkhart was sitting on the bench. Looks like the Jackrabbit offense is starting to flow. She was getting points when she was in. Take her out, give her a little bit of rest after she had a lot of work. Give her a break, and the offense continues to roll.
Yeah, a little bit more of a break now as the Coyotes call a timeout. We'll go ahead and step aside with them, 13-9. The Jackrabbits have the lead. We will be back here on KSDJ right after this.
If you worry your
I
friend may
spent
be
a lot of
struggling,
time in the
remember,
garage, but even more time in the rain and mud. In '95, I helped tow your moving trailer. And in '09, it was sparks from me, your chains, dragging behind your truck that accidentally started a wildfire.
Spark a change, not a wildfire. Visit SmokeyBear.com, brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service, your state forester, and the Ad Council.
Only you can prevent wildfires.
Uh-oh, Brad's buzzed.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, he's starting with the woots. And now a speech.
I just want to say that friendship is about heart and brain. Who's with me?
Good thing is, he knows when he's buzzed.
And my brain is saying, when it's time to go home, somebody call me a ride.
Love that guy.
Me too.
Know your buzzed warning signs? Call for a ride when it's time to go home. Buzz driving is drunk driving. A message from NHTSA and the Ad Council.
Well, the Jackrabbits have finally seemed to be pushing the pace a little bit here in this first period, jumping out to this 13-9 lead. They're on an 8-0 run over the last minute 12. They seem to find what's been working so far, forcing the timeout by the Coyotes.
They started to find the hot hand on the offense, where it's a push pace, a quick inside basket, or a kick out to the left wing is where most of the three-pointers have come from, hitting 5 of their last 6 field goal attempts. Now Haley Timmer, on that last foul on the left block, will go to the free throw line.
Yep, Timmer at the line now. She's currently sitting at a .656 free throw percentage. She was named to the 2022 WNIT All-Tournament team, and she knocks that one through.
6 points for her now.
14-9. Larkins and the Coyotes now driving left hand, stops, reverses, now spins around again and blocks again down low by Brooklyn Meyer.
It feels like she has more. That's her second block of the game, but she's having such an effect from this defense, affecting the offense. Feels like she has more blocks than that.
Inbound coming from Cassidy Carson, the redshirt freshman from Eagan, Minnesota. Larkin spinning in the paint to travel again. That's the third travel called on the Coyotes so far this game.
It was a nice spin move is what she was trying to do from the right lane to the center of the paint, but she just didn't account for the second Jackrabbit defender that was right in her way.
Another turnover for the Coyotes, going from coast to coast all the way down. Paige Meyer, and man, she's been such a valuable asset for the Jacks since they've gotten her back. Larkin faking a step back, misses the basket completely. It'll go out of bounds near the dance team.
Almost surprised the cameraman, I think. He's only got the one eye he can see out of. So.
Yeah, exactly. 16-9, 11-0 run over the past almost 2 minutes now. Paige Meyer up on top, 4 minutes left to go. Kick out now on the left side for three. Couldn't get it to fall from Velostin. Another whistle. It's going to be Grace Larkin. Again, her second, team's fifth, and the Jacks are already in the bonus for this first period.
Just 2 seconds gone in this 4th minute here for this first quarter. Jackrabbits are going to take a big advantage of this bonus for the rest of the period.
Yeah, what a complete turnaround the Jackrabbits have had as Tyson now at the line. Puts it up, misses the basket to the left, no good.
The second free throw missed by the Jackrabbits in this game.
Yeah, Tyson, 643% from the free throw line, and she does knock that one down, 17-9 now. Almost tipped away from Paige Meyer. Now Giebert gets it up top to Duffney. Looking, trying to get it inside. Poked away by Brooklyn Meyer. She's everywhere on the defense, man, everywhere. Paige Meyer cutting inside the lane, loses the ball a little bit. Velostin picks it up, gets it to Meyer again, and now a foul called on the inside away from the ball. And that's going to be Morgan Hansen.
Her second foul.
So Tyson again going to the line. Was 1 for 2, makes that 2 for 3 now. Advances the score 18-9. And that one stays true as well. Perfect on that bout. 19-9, the 10-point lead for the Jacks. 14-0 run over the past 2.5 minutes, and the Coyotes seem a little bit helpless here.
Really, this scoring drought is really set up by Brooklyn Meyer. Having a hand in a couple of the three turnovers from USD. They've had 3 in the last 2 minutes, 50 seconds thereabouts. Haven't scored in that whole time either.
And Nelson pokes the ball away. It will go out of bounds, and the Coyotes retain possession. Inbound right in front of us from Hempy. Gives it to Giebert. Dribbling, right-handed, cutting, spinning around, and that gets poked out by Paige Meyer this time. And another turnover for the Coyotes.
That is their 4th turnover in about 3 minutes. Really hard to get any sort of offense rolling when you just keep handing the ball off to the other team.
It is going to be a foul in there. Man, it's messing up my stat page. All these trends on the right side, it's pushing the scorebook way, way down. Paige Meyer puts up the first one. That does not go in. Macy Giebert, the one that got called the foul. That second one doesn't go. Gets her own rebound, too hard off the glass. It will go off the hands of Brooklyn Meyer.
She just got a little too excited. She was kind of open in no man's land on the right side of the lane and couldn't believe that she had the ball in her hands that wide open. Just threw it a little.
Great rebound, just couldn't finish it.
Yeah, shooter usually doesn't get the rebound.
19-9, 10-point deficit the Coyotes are working with. Giebert driving on the right baseline. The Jackrabbit defense swarms all over her. Now a kick out, Cassidy Carson. And that's no good. Rebound falls down to Nelson. Gilton, feet ahead to Velostin. 3 ball, too short. Side irons off, and it falls down to Giebert, who's coming in transition. Slows up shop a little bit, now gives it to Carson. Dribbling over to Hempy, right wing. And another whistle. Man, a lot of fouls so far early in this one.
That one will be called on Brooklyn Meyer. Her first foul to go along with 2 blocks and a steal, poke away, an assisted steal. However you put that stat down.
Inbound for the Coyotes under their own basket. Driving, she loses the ball. That was Grace Larkins. No, excuse me. Carly Duffney, she tripped over it. Burkhardt thought about the 3, now gives it to Gilton, who knocks that 3 down. Sharing the wealth over here. Another timeout from the Coyotes.
Going coast to coast, the Jackrabbits. That's 5 turnovers from the Coyotes in 3 minutes, just about 4 minutes here. Not fantastic offense.
22-9, a 17-0 run in the past 3 minutes and 41 seconds. Another timeout. We'll step aside with them. We will be back here. Actually, no, we'll go ahead and keep it. They're only going to take a 30. No need for media, so we'll go ahead and keep it here. Gather our thoughts a little bit, huh?
It's been a lot of back and forth, a lot of whistles, and a lot of good things for the Jackrabbits here as Brooklyn Meyer stays in the game, which is probably the right decision from Erin Johnston. The way she's been playing, 2 blocks, a couple tips. She's had a lot of recoveries, too, of any loose balls, feeding it ahead, getting it to her point guards who are able to make the right decision, find the open woman, and get the baskets.
Maya Sellen leads the Jacks and everybody with 5 points. Hempy and Duffney with 3 points. Now trying again, Hempy adds to that another 3. 6 points, and finally the scoring drought lasting nearly 4 minutes is over with.
Finally into double digits here, USD is.
22-12. Nelson, right wing 3, goes around the back. Rebound by Burkhardt, spins around, puts it in, and good.
4 points for Burkhardt. The big posts for SDSU, Sellen and Burkhardt really contributing.
Avila Ambrosi gives it off now to Duffney. Left side. Up top, Hempy. Shot clock down to 10 already. Duffney, left wing. Avila Ambrosi, now a handoff. Giebert trying to get something. A long 3 bounces. It gets touched by Duffney.
Looks like it bounced off the bounced inbounds and then went off of Gilton's chest out of bounds. She's on the border. Really hard to avoid that high speed, high contact loose ball.
Macy Giebert ready to inbound. Shot clock at 20. Spinning around, gives it up top of Avila Ambrosi. Driving, stopping. Now Hempy. Signaling for her team to spread out, barking orders. Shot clock at 6. Short clock again. Giebert kick out to Carson. Driving, puts up a prayer off the backboard and gets it to fall.
I don't think that's how they drew it up, but it was really fortunate for him to get that floater to fall, bank off the glass and in.
It worked out. 24-14. 10-point lead for the Jacks. Still Timmer left side. Gilton. Under a minute left to go in the first. Gilton knocks it from way downtown.
We say way downtown, we mean 35 feet plus here.
Inside Duffney. Now the Coyotes. Again, players on the ground. Timmer coming in transition. Shot clock is off. The Jacks can waste time, but why would you when you're hot from 3? Sellen knocks that one right between the eyes.
That's her first 3-pointer of this game. She's still trying to get back up to that 7 from last time.
8 seconds now left in the first. Avila Ambrosi gets it to Giebert inside. A travel called again on the Yotes.
It looked like they might have gotten their hands underneath and hooked Burkhardt, able to try to draw the foul that way, but took too many steps on the way getting there.
Kayla Carius beside herself as a prayer of a shot put up. That's no good, but the Jackrabbits are happy with what they put out in the first period. 30-14, and ending in another run, 6-0 over the last 55 seconds.
Hitting 3 their last 3, a couple of them being wide open 3-pointers too.
Well, great start to this one. A lot of high-paced energy. We'll be back for the second period right after this. You're listening to Jackrabbit Women's Basketball on KSDJ.
Accidents happen far too often and never at a convenient time. That's why Dave's Collision Repair Center is here to help. Their highly trained staff will help you by working with both you and the insurance company handling the claim. The staff at Dave's Collision takes pride in returning your vehicle to you in a timely manner and looking as good as it did before the accident. You'll find them at 1019 Main Avenue South or online at Dave's Collision.
When you're high, you feel different. You think different, you talk different, you draw different, you listen to music different, but you probably knew that. Problem is, you also drive different, and not in a good way. That's why driving high is illegal everywhere. So if you're high, just don't drive. Make a plan to get a sober ride. Because if you feel different, you drive different. Brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
Here's a fun fact for you. The average chameleon can point their eyes in 2 different directions. On the other hand, the average human can't. So unless you're a chameleon, there's absolutely no way you can focus on texting and driving at the same time. So don't do it, unless you're a chameleon.
Visit StopTextsStopWrecks.org. A message brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, Project Yellow Light, and the Ad Council.
Walking into the building for the first time after the shooting, it was crippling, but it had to be preserved.
In response to the Pulse nightclub shooting that affected the LGBTQ community, Barbara Poma, owner of Pulse, founded the One Pulse Foundation to honor Pulse victims and survivors.
If you're an ally of this community, speak out. There are more of us together than apart. It is the power of love in its rawest form.
Join the fight for LGBTQ acceptance. Learn how at lovehasnolabels.com. Brought to you by Love Has No Labels and the Ad Council.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Jacks are hot right now. 30-14, they lead it, and Timmer knocks down a 3 to start off the second period. How about that one,
Picking
Paul?
up right where they left off. That left wing, top of the key, they really love that zone right now, and they're shooting hot from it.
33-14 currently. As we sit in the second period, driving left side, Grace Larkins puts up a shot. A foul on the inside. Going to be on Burkhardt, blocking foul for her, and the Yotes will go to the line, more specifically Larkin, who does not lead the team with best free throw percentage, but it's a pretty good one. .18, 818, excuse me.
She remains perfect today. She hit her first one on her first trip to the free throw line. Of her 2 shots now, she just made her first. 2 of 2 total in the game, and remains perfect, 3-3.
33-16 now. Burkhardt up top. Feed inside to Timmer. And another foul now on the opposite end. Larkin's third. She'll go ahead and come out after that one.
That's a few more fouls than you want your teammate or your player to be playing with this early in the game. If you're looking third quarter, fourth quarter, 3 fouls is okay, but second quarter, early second quarter.
A 3 ball coming from Sellen. That one will not fall.
Lots of confidence on that 3 ball too.
And why not?
Might as well. You're up by this many anyway. 5 of 12 for the team for 3 so far.
Hempy gives it up top now to Avila Ambrosi. Shot clock all the way down to 10 again now. Demers standing. Handoff backwards to Giebert at 6-5. It's going to be tipped away by Sellen. Is not able to corral it before it goes out, but it will go out off of a Yote. And the Jackrabbits force another turnover.
Just a lot of high intensity in that off that sideline. Neither player seemed to really know where the ball directly was. Generally where it was, because you can hear it bouncing, but ultimately hits the paint, the colored paint over there, the blue side, and Jackrabbits get possession off the nice pass from Burkhardt down to the left block. She's able to put a nice little hook shot off the glass, increase her total, and pick up the foul.
First foul going to be on, the second foul on Walker Demers, I do believe. 35-16 as Burkhart goes to the line now. First free throw attempts of the day for her. And that one cannot go, but the rebound does fall down to Sellen. She gives it to Gilton. Inside, Burkhart makes up for it and gets the 2.
Was going thinking she was going to get a 2-point trip, gets the foul, thinking she's going to get 3, doesn't get it, gets the pass down low and makes it a 4-point trip for her.
37-16. The Jackrabbits lead at 8:17 left to go in the second. Up top, Duffney for the Yotes. Gives it to Carson. Standing near the SD logo, and a little bit overzealous was Paige Myers, but a little bit of help on the back end. Makes the shot miss from the Yotes. And now back in transition, Paige Meyer, one-handed pass to Gilton. Gives it Burkhart, right wing. Gilton up top, now Sellen left side. Driving left, stops, puts up a shot in.
They called her for a push-off down on the baseline. Center defender flying. The crowd seems to believe she got crossed and got lost Maya Sellen. Referee standing right in front of him disagrees, sends the ball to USD.
Carson on the left side of the court. Now gives it up top to Giebert. Carson again driving. Thought she had a little bit of a lane. Turns around as Timmer got on her. Duffney gives it out now to Avila Ambrosi. Shot clock at 5. Been working with short clock all game. The defense of the Jackrabbits showing out here. That's going to hit at 0. And a shot clock violation. Another turnover.
That's 11 so far in the game for USD. Certainly something they're going to be talking about in the locker room at halftime.
I would say so. 37-16, the Jacks currently up big over the Coyotes.
Let's see, it's 16. I can do that math pretty quick. Doubled is 32. Doubled them up.
I'm glad you can do math really quick. Paige Meyer on the inside. Reverse lay-in.
Only even numbers. I can only do even numbers.
Only even numbers? Well, I can't do even numbers. Inside, Hansen. The shot gets called off for another travel. Man.
Another handoff back to the Jackrabbits.
Just some fundamental things. It seems like it could go a long way here.
The Jackrabbits are taking advantage of it. Everything they're getting given by a USD. They've gone they have a 6-0 run over the last minute and a half.
Timmer driving inside. Ball gets pushed up in the air and another whistle. Call coming from Amy Kromenhoek.
On Duffney.
Madison Mathewitz going to come in for Drew Gilton. Definitely seemed to be becoming a bit of a crowd favorite here in her couple games with the Jacks. Selland, left wing up top, Mathewitz. Now Meyer. Paige Meyer gives it back to Mathewitz. Up at the top, stop, back to Meyer. Driving inside, almost loses it. Mathewitz now pump fakes. Selland, left baseline 3, hits the top of the backboard. The top left corner, to be more exact. 6.5 minutes now. The Coyotes get another shot at it. Duffney picks it up, now dribbles. Gives it back to Hansen, who shoots it up and knocks it down.
That's her first 3-point attempt, and obviously then her first 3-point make of the contest.
39-19. Timmer, left side 3. She answers on the opposite end. And the third timeout for the Coyotes coming. The first in this second period. 6 minutes left to go in the second. We will take a timeout with them. You're listening to Jackrabbit Women's Basketball here on KSDJ Radio.
This portion of KSDJ 90.7's broadcast is brought to you by Guadalajaras. Located at 1715 6th Street in the Village Square Mall, Guadalajaras specializes in authentic Mexican cuisine. Guadalajaras opens at 11 a.m. every day and closes at 10 p.m. Monday through Thursday, at 10:45 p.m. on Fridays and Saturdays, and at 9:30 p.m. on Sundays. Weekly margarita specials are offered Monday through Wednesday. Guadalajaras, a proud sponsor of KSDJ 90.7.
I spent a lot of time in the garage, but even more time in the rain and mud. In '95, I helped tow your moving trailer. In an '09, it was sparks from me, your chains, dragging behind your truck that accidentally started a wildfire.
Spark a change, not a wildfire. Visit SmokeyBear.com, brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service, your state forester, and the Ad Council.
Only you can prevent wildfires.
Uh-oh, Brad's buzzed.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, he's starting with the woots. And now a speech.
I just want to say that friendship is about heart and brain. Who's with me?
Good thing is, he knows when he's buzzed.
And my brain is saying, when it's time to go home, somebody call me a ride.
Love that guy.
Me too.
Know your buzzed warning signs? Call for a ride when it's time to go home. Buzz driving is drunk driving. A message from NHTSA and the Ad Council.
Decent crowd on hand today here in Frost Arena for this South Dakota showdown. 42-19, the Jackrabbits currently lead it. Student sections are kind of getting into it.
It's always fun beating up on a state rival, in-state rival, isn't it?
It is.
Easy to draw a crowd.
You know what? NDSU versus SDSU, obviously, rivalry there. But there's just nothing like USD versus SDSU.
Both, each time, no matter who's playing, men or women, it always draws a big crowd. Lots of fans, good atmosphere.
3-ball coming from Morgan Hansen. She knocks it down. We were just talking about Sioux Falls and Rapid City. The Sioux Falls native makes the deficit a little bit less worse.
There's a long ways to go still.
42-22.
Not quite doubled up anymore, but.
Yep. Ball gets poked away. Paige Meyer gives it Selin mid-range at the free throw line. Can't get the short-range jumper to go, and now coming back the opposite way. Gonna be Giebert. Gives to Hansen. Up at the top, now Giebert left side, inside to Duffney. Spinning. Ooh, that was a nice play. She went up around and got it behind the back and just floated it up and in.
Off the back side of the glass, or the rim, coming from the left side.
Paige Meyer, though, showing her up. Levitating midair to put it down. 44-24. Still maintaining that 20-point threshold. Down on the low block, Duffney spinning around. Rejected by Tyson, picked up by Selland, and coming back the opposite way, Paige Meyer again. Stopping, turning around. Meyer only has 6 points. Seems like she has a lot more than that.
Points are getting spread around a lot here with SDSU. 44 total for the game. Timmer with 12. The sophomore from Rapid City is what we were talking about.
That is amazing. Meyer driving, can't get it to go. Tyson with the rebound and the hoop and the harm.
Jackrabbits kind of seem to get whatever they're looking for in this second quarter. Taking an open three, they get it open. They get an open look down low, get the contested layup, and the foul for that matter.
Tori Nelson, Drew Gilton, and Brooklyn Meyer come in for the Jacks. Callie Tyson at the line. Ball don't lie.
There it is. She got hacked.
47-24. Giebert puts it up, rims out. Gilton brings it down. Foul going to be called on Hansen. I almost said Gilton there. It was 10 on 10. It was 10 on 10, and when you put up that 1 and a 0, it's a toss-up at that point.
It's the numbers, man.
You got to rely on actually knowing basketball, and I don't know about you, but I'm not too sound in my confidence with that.
It's her third personal foul of the game.
Gilton at the line again, and puts that one up. She was 1 for 2, make that 2 for 3 now. Second one good. 49-24, the Jacks lead at 4 minutes and 12 seconds left to go in the second.
4:12 left.
7-0 run over the past 50 seconds for the Jacks. This is definitely a game of runs, game of runs, game of runs. They just keep pushing it, pushing the pace, pushing out to a bigger lead. Hempy with a 3 from straight away. That one is not good. Gilton dribbling, stops, inside, Tyson, bounce pass between the legs to Brooklyn Meyer, can't get it to go, gets her board, and puts it in. The ball movement is just immaculate from this Jackrabbit team.
16 total rebounds from the Jacks, too. They're cleaning up the boards.
Add on that 12 assists.
Playing a complete game. It's an even number for the score again, so I can do some quick math. 48 is doubled. Jackrabbits have 51. Doubled up again.
Numbers. Carson gets it inside. Duffney was going to be the recipient of that one from Hempy.
Looks like instead of calling any sort of contact foul down low, they just said that it was tipped out of bounds by the Jacks. So USD will retain possession on the far block, out of bounds, baseline.
Giebert gets it into Carson. Cutting. Shot clock at 7, reverse lay-in good. Gilton driving with her right hand, pulls up right between the eyes. Gilton good from 3 today, 3 for 4.
12 points on the day for Gilton. Ties the leading scorer for the Jacks.
Man, these Rabbits are playing out of their mind. Avila Ambrosi kicks it out. Meyer taps the rebound into Nelson. Pulls up, gives it to Gilton. Signaling orders, shadowing the right wing. Now gets it up to the top. Over right wing Nelson. Inside Burkhart. Out towards the left to Vlosten. For a tray. The Jacks are 7 of 16. Make that 8 of 17. Excuse me. It hasn't updated yet. From 3-point land.
Vlosten's first make of the day. 1 for 3. A good one to hit. A long 3-pointer.
Foul called on the inside, I do believe. That is going to be on number 22, Maddie Vlosten. It's going to be her first, 4th team foul. Neither team is in the bonus so far. Well, I meant to say what had not been in the bonus so far. That's what I meant to say. You know, words are just a concept, Paul. Carson gives it to Giebert. If you really want to get yourself into tizzy, just think about that phrase for a second. Inside Giebert. Shot clock at 5. Can't get it to go. Meyer gives it out to Gilton. Driving. Burkhart, left side 3. A little bit too hard. It'll fall out of bounds, but not before foul is called on Brooklyn Meyer.
I'm not sure that last one on the left side here when Brooklyn was on defense, I don't know if that counted as a block, but very highly contested, almost just kind of picked the ball out of the offensive player's hands and just turned it around. Now she'll go and sit down for a minute as Maya Stone comes in and takes her spot.
Giebert, first free throw is good. $1:48 left to go in the game. If the Coyotes can switch it around and maybe get a run here as the second one goes through, they could kind of just start chipping away at this lead that they will need to do in the second half if they want to pull this thing out.
Just kind of turning around, setting the different tone, going into halftime so you can come out and hopefully keep the same rhythm going. Maya Sellen tries to find Peyton Burkhart down low off the left block. Pass is just a little too high to corral. Goes into the dance team. Since it wasn't tipped, it'll go to USD, going the other way.
Minute and a half left to go. Carson driving, tried to get a bounce pass inside. A whistle and a kickball violation. Inbound for the Yotes underneath their own basket.
looking up top, swinging it around. Gubert, top of the key, trying to direct some traffic. 10 seconds left on the shot clock. Minute 15 left in the quarter and the half. Drives down the right lane, picked up by Gilton. Scoops up and under the basket, no good. With a foul, looks like it'll be called on Gilton for a little bit of a hack, excessive contact underneath the basket.
Just came down hard. That made me wince, man. Oh.
Lots of contact. Gilton will come out of the game, replaced by Paige Meyer for the point guard position. First free throw is up and good. 29-57, advantage South Dakota State.
Both teams in the bonus now for the second period.
Second shot by Giebert, up and good as well. Maya Sellen prepares to inbound. Paige Meyer down the right side, slowing it down. 65 seconds left in the first half. Jackrabbits playing on the left wing. Valusin up to Meyer, top of the key, swings around Nelson, right wing, back to Meyer on top. Lots of extra passes inside. Burkhart shot from the left block, no good. Gets her own rebound, puts it back in for two. Highly contested shot. 46 seconds left in this first half.
The Jackrabbits have outscored themselves in the first half for their previous two games. They're just 1 point shy of 60, and they have a real good chance of getting that as Brooklyn Meyer picks off the pass and stops near the half-court line, taking signs and play calls from Coach Johnston. Shot clock, game clock, separated by 2 points. Meyer loses the ball, picked up, fed ahead, 4-3-2. Now Nelson gets it back, driving inside, puts it up, gets 61 in the first half. They're on pace to score 122.
You wouldn't think that they could have a better second quarter than they did first quarter. The way it went, scoring 30 points, almost got back to that 30-point mark. 29 in the second quarter. Except that hasn't updated yet, so that will be 31 to get them up to 61 for the half.
Man, excellent half by the Jackrabbits, dominating not from the start, but pretty dang near close to it. We'll go ahead and step aside here. It's halftime in Brookings. When we come back, we'll have take a look at the stats and scoreboard around the Summit League in the world of college basketball. You're listening to Jackrabbit Women's Basketball on KSDJ.
Accidents happen far too often and never at a convenient time. That's why Dave's Collision Repair Center is here to help. Their highly trained staff will help you by working with both you and the insurance company handling the claim. The staff at Dave's Collision takes pride in returning your vehicle to you in a timely manner and looking as good as it did before the accident. You'll find them at 1019 Main Avenue South or online at davescollision.com.
When you're high, you feel different. You think different, you talk different, you draw different, you listen to music different, but you probably knew that. Problem is, you also drive different, and not in a good way. That's why driving high is illegal everywhere. So if you're high, just don't drive. Make a plan to get a sober ride. Because if you feel different, you drive different. Brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
Here's a fun fact for you. The average chameleon can point their eyes in 2 different directions. On the other hand, the average human can't. So unless you're a chameleon, there's absolutely no way you can focus on texting and driving at the same time. So don't do it, unless you're a chameleon.
Visit StopTextsStopWrecks.org. A message brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, Project Yellow Light, and the Ad Council.
Walking into the building for the first time after the shooting, it was crippling, but it had to be preserved.
In response to the Pulse nightclub shooting that affected the LGBTQ community, Barbara Poma, owner of Pulse, founded the One Pulse Foundation to honor Pulse victims and survivors.
If you're an ally of this community, speak out. There are more of us together than apart. It is the power of love in its rawest form.
Join the fight for LGBTQ acceptance. Learn how at lovehasnolabels.com. Brought to you by Love Has No Labels and the Ad Council.
We have a riveting matchup here. So far in the baby crawl, we had the gray Jacks onesie working itself, but a late comer now. Late coming up, it is going to be the one in the blue shirt with the yellow stripes around the arms.
Certainly was a slow start for that baby, but
he pulled it out in the end.
What,
what an amazing matchup here.
I didn't get any stats on these guys before the game. I don't know. Nothing to report there.
Nothing to report there. Well, we've got a good game, even though that was that had to be the most entertaining part of the game so far. like nothing against these basketball teams, but come on, man, babies.
Babies, right?
Babies
on a basketball court. Babies don't belong on a basketball court.
Come on, but they do here.
They do here.
They do here in
They
Brookings.
get their 15 minutes or however long it takes them to crawl, 50 feet, whatever it is.
61-30 is the score at halftime. South Dakota State up over South Dakota. We just got some stats, so I'll go ahead and give Paul some time to collect himself there and kind of take a look at it. Well, it was certainly a game of runs. South Dakota State looked a little bit grim early. It was looking like USD came out to play, like they were going to push the pace and give the Jacks something to fight. They were up pretty big. I do believe at one point it was 6-1, but then they just flipped it on.
It was not looking good for the Jackrabbits. Didn't look like they kind of knew what they were doing. Lots of long shots, long three-pointers, long twos, going over the basket, not falling in. Maybe not enough arc on them one way or another. The ball was not falling. Turned it around, fed Maya Sellen and Peyton Burkhart below the basket for a couple easy scoop shots. Ever since then, Jacks haven't looked back.
Jacks started pushing the pace, and they kept just growing out. I think their largest streak of the game was probably about 13-0 before the Coyotes finally got back into it. But judging by the score, a little bit too little, a little bit too late.
There's going to have to be some large adjustments in that halftime locker room here to shut down this Jacks offense.
Yeah, well, the Jackrabbits are on pace to score 122 points. This is setting up to be a 122-60 game. Not that that'll happen, but it just taking the score here and doubling it, that's what we get.
You would think statistically you'd be able to do that. However, there are a couple other elements that come into it. Starters will probably come out in that fourth quarter with this kind of a lead, and will slow down the pace of the game just a little bit.
Yep, well, 61-30. You kind of ready there, Paul?
We got a couple stats here we can run through for for USD, the South Dakota without the state. We have a couple, their leading scorers have 6 points, 2 with 6, 2 players with 6 points, 2 with 5. The 2 with 6 are Morgan Hansen from Sioux Falls, Lincoln. I think I've heard of that school once or twice. Graduated from there. Alexi Hempe is the other player with 6 points for South Dakota. The 2 players with 5 points for them are Grace Larkins and Carly Dunphy. USD has 2 players. I'm going to call it foul trouble. It might not be completely foul trouble. It's not something to worry about yet, but they might be here shortly.
It's something to look at. It's an interesting point, yeah.
Two players with 3 fouls. Their leading scorer and then one of their second leading scorers, Morgan Hansen, has 3 personal fouls, and Grace Larkins also has 3. Something to keep an eye on. We'll watch it for the second half. You at home can also keep track of it. USD has not had a fantastic offense, mostly because they have not been able to hold on to the basketball, handing it off to the Jackrabbits on 14 separate occasions. Jackrabbits able to convert on most of those. Points from turnovers, SDSU has 20 from the 14 turnovers from USD. USD is shooting 9 of 26 from the field, 34.6% to be exact. 12 of them are from the three-point arc. Only 4 of them have gone in, and they remain perfect from the free throw line, 8 of 8. Taking a look at the South Dakota State side, The leading scorers have two tied with 12 points, one with 10 and one with 8. The two with 12 are Drew Gilton and Haley Timmer. Drew Gilton is 3 of 4 from the field. All of them, and also 3 of 4 from three-pointer. Haley Timmer, 4 of 4, 3 of 3 from the three-point line, 1 of 1 from the free throw line. Drew Gilton, 3 of 4 from the free throw line. Peyton Burkhart is the next leading scorer with 10 points. She is 5 of 9 from the field, 0 of 2 from 3, and 0 of 1 from the free throw line. And then the fourth leading scorer for the Jackrabbits is Maya Sellen with 8, 3 of 6 from the field, 1 of 3 from three-pointer, and 1 of 1 from the line. None of the Jacks are in as big foul trouble as USD. The player with the most fouls is with 2, Peyton Burkhart and Callie Tyson, both forwards down low for the Jacks. Compared to USD's 14 turnovers, South Dakota State only has 3. USD has converted to turn those 3 turnovers into only 2 total points. Fantastic job taking care of the ball from Aaron Johnston's offense. Jackrabbits are shooting 22 of 38 from the field, 57.9%. 18 of those 38 shots come from beyond the arc, 8 of them going in, 44.4%. And they have taken 14 free throws, making 9 of them for 64.3%. USD had 14 points in the first quarter, 16 in the second, for a total of 30. 30 in the game. SDSU had 30 points in the first quarter and then tacked on 31 more points to that total in the second quarter to bring their complete total up to 61, more than doubling up their opponent in this first half.
Yeah, well, there's a look at the first half stats. Thank you, Paul, for that. 61-30 is the score at halftime. When we come back, we'll take a look at some other scores around the Summit League men's and women's basketball. Well, we'll take a look at some scores around women's basketball and then look ahead to the Summit League men. Well, we'll be back right after this. You're listening to Jackrabbit Women's Basketball on KSDJ Radio.
I was in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean when it happened. There was a sudden jolt and our submarine crashed on the seafloor. We were in total darkness.
That's Dr. Dejana Figueroa, a marine biologist and STEM teacher, talking about a deep sea dive she'll never forget.
It's funny, when I was a kid, I was afraid of the ocean. And there I was, 2 miles below the surface. But as a scientist, you prepare for that. Using our training and a little creativity, we fixed the sub and finished our experiments. The dive was just too important. Every dive gives us glimpses at things few people ever get to see. Glowing creatures, fiery undersea volcanoes. When we got back to the surface, I kissed the ground and called my mom, of course. But you know what? I wouldn't trade that dive for anything.
Dr. Figueroa uses her passion for STEM to discover new things and make the world a better place. She can STEM, so can you. Check out She Can STEM for more stories and inspiration. A message from the Ad Council.
This portion of KSDJ 90.7's broadcast is brought to you by Guadalajaras. Located at 1715 6th Street in the Village Square Mall, Guadalajaras specializes in authentic Mexican cuisine. Guadalajaras opens at 11 a.m. every day and closes at 10 p.m. Monday through Thursday, at 10:45 p.m. on Fridays and Saturdays, and at 9:30 p.m. on Sundays. Weekly margarita specials are offered Monday through Wednesday. Guadalajaras, a proud sponsor of KSDJ 90.7.
I spent a lot of time in the garage, but even more time in the rain and mud. In 95, I helped tow your moving trailer. And in 09, it was sparks from me, your chains, dragging behind your truck that accidentally started a wildfire.
Spark a change, not a wildfire. Visit SmokeyBear.com, brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service, your state forester, and the Ad Council.
Only you can prevent wildfires.
is your score at halftime. Glad you're along with us here on KSDJ Radio. You're listening to Jackrabbit Women's Basketball. 2.5 minutes till we get the second half underway. Let's go ahead and take a look at some scores from around women's basketball in the Summit League. Currently, North Dakota is beating the Denver Pioneers 42-36. St. Thomas up over Oral Roberts 42-31. They just started the second half. At halftime, North Dakota State barely above Omaha 37-33. And of course, this one 61-30. Western Illinois and Kansas City getting ready to square off. That game should have started right about now at 2 o'clock. And then looking at the men's side, Denver taking on North Dakota in Denver. Hamilton Gymnasium in the Mile High City. That should be getting started right about meow. South Dakota State taking on the University of South Dakota down in Vermilion tonight at 6 at the Sanford Coyote Sports Center. Hope to see you down there. And St. Thomas going to be taking on Oral Roberts at 7. Western Illinois versus Kansas City at 7 as well. And a game that already happened today here, close to here at Baxter Arena in Omaha. 78-65, North Dakota State gets the dub over the Omaha Mavericks. Well, we're here in Brookings. 61-30 is the score. We're on pace to have a 122-point game from the Jackrabbits, clad in yellow and blue. An excellent half from the Jackrabbits. Going to go down the point totals. Tori Nelson has 2. Peyton Burkhardt has 10. Maya Selland has only 8. Drew Gilton and Haley Timmer both have 12. That's the game high. Callie Tyson with 6. Paige Meyer with 6. Brooklyn Meyer with 2. And Madison Veloston with 3. For the Coyotes, Morgan Hansen with 6. Alexi Hempy, with 6. Macy Giebert has 4. Grace Larkins with 5. Carly Duffney with 5. And Cassidy Carson with 4. So the Jackrabbits will come out. Burkhardt, Selland, Timmer, Gilton, and Nelson as they come out onto the floor in their home white uniforms with yellow and blue trimming, blue numerals. And the Yotes will come out here with Hansen, Larkins, Demers, Giebert, and Hempy, their starting lineup as well. So we are underway here for the second half, 61-30. The Jacks lead it. Coming around the left side, Larkins driving, puts up a shot, it'll go out of bounds. And already a quick turnover for the Coyotes. Coming back now from right to left this half, going to be the Jacks. Gilton dribbling left wing, stops, cuts inside, bounces inside to Nelson. Spinning in the paint, puts it up, not hard enough. It gets brought down now. Timmer on the right elbow, bounces inside to Burkhardt. It'll go out of bounds. Will go off the Coyotes though, however, so the Jacks do retain possession. Gilton to inbound underneath their own basket. Burkhardt up to the top. Inside Nelson, off the glass, and good. Getting things started out on the right note, 63-30. Bounce inside now. Demers gets it to go. Gilton driving, tried to get it to Timmer. A little bit miscommunication there. The ball will go out of bounds, and now the Coyotes will have it. A lot of turnovers so far here in this second period. Hansen gives it to Larkins. Dribbling up with the right hand now, driving the right seam, and a whistle and a foul called on Gilton. That'll be the Jackrabbits first. And Gilton's third personal foul. Will just be an inbound. Larkins inbounds it to Demers, spinning around, the grafted North Dakota native. Spinning, trying to get it. It'll go in, and she gets the foul. It's going to be on Burkhardt, her second team foul. As Demers will be at the line for the first time today, and she knocks that through. One-on-one of free throws, 63-35. Burkhardt on the inside, off the glass, and puts it down. Now Morgan Hansen gets the foul call on her. In comes Cassidy Carson and Nicole Avila Ambrosi. Inside Selland, left wing, driving, cutting, now stops up top. Burkhardt for three, right between the eyes.
That's her third three-pointer attempt, first make of the game. From three, that is.
From three, yes. Emphasis on the three. 66-35. Up top, Carson gives it over Larkins. Cutting, driving, now on the left seam. Double teamed, the ball gets poked out. Everybody's on the floor. Demers in there and able to tie it up. A jump ball going to be called, and a turnover now for the Coyotes, as the possession arrow was in favor of the Jackrabbits.
15 total turnovers for the Coyotes now.
Quite a few so far here early in this second half. Gilton tried to get it inside. Nelson couldn't corral it. It's tipped out of bounds. So far, you can kind of tell there's a lack of energy so far from both of these teams, really, but it's more glaringly obvious for the Jacks.
Well, especially because they were operating at such a high level at the first half. Now they're up. They doubled them up with 30 points. Doesn't feel like there's a lot to play for.
Down inside Demers, spinning in the post, puts it up and down.
Looks like the Jacks might have to turn something on here, though, because if USD keeps playing this way, they've already put in 6 points in this second half.
Up top, Burkhardt now towards the right to Gilton. Driving right baseline, out Selland on the right elbow. Pump fake, drives inside, puts it up, falls down, gets the foul. The call will be on Macy Giebert.
It'll be her third personal foul of the game. I believe the second team foul of the half, of the quarter. Counts towards the bonus.
So now Selland at the line. That one back irons out, cannot get that to go. Was previously perfect.
Her first miss, yep.
But the second one goes through. 2 for 3 for her. And the Jacks are up 67-37.
Pretty sizable lead, pretty comfortable.
Ticking down to 7 minutes left to play in the third period. Larkins driving, and that gets stuffed by Tyson.
Fortunately, the good side of that play for USD is that the ball got blocked out of bounds. Did not go into any other SDSU player. So they do retain possession underneath the basket.
5 total blocks for SDSU compared to none for USD. Larkins on the right side, dribbling up, stops, spinning around. Tyson is all over her. Timmer was on Giebert. She drives. The shot clock's at 4. Got to do something with it. Avila Ambrosi gets up a shot that'll reset the clock, but to no avail as the Jackrabbits come back in transition. Selland now on the right, gives it inside. Timmer tried to get it up off the glass, falls down, and Giebert pushes it down. Aaron Johnston not happy with that, but he'll let it slide, I suppose. And Giebert on the opposite end. That was I'm not mean, but that was an ugly shot.
That did not draw iron. No. It's a tough shot for Timmer, too, on the right block in the last possession. She kind of got stuck in the situation where she had to shoot the ball, just surrounded by 3 Coyote defenders.
Paige Meyer now in the game for the Jacks. Finds his way to Selland on the inside. A nice give inside for the 2.
16 assists in the contest for the Jackrabbits now after that very pretty one. I guess it only counts for 1 assist, but it should count for more.
69-37. Larkins driving on the inside. That gets blocked again. It falls down. Duffney, the Jacks have really been nice on the defensive side.
69-37, the current score, 5:57 left in this third quarter. Advantage South Dakota State. Tori Nelson and Haley Timmer come out. Brooklyn Meyer and Volusin go in to help out.
Some contact on the inside. It looks like Larkins was on the ground. Foul will be on Brooklyn Meyer.
It's only her second.
Long inbound up top, a pass inside to Giebert. Goes out of bounds. The Jacks will have their chance on offense once again. Velostin near side, now Meyer. And Selland on the right for three.
Really starting to take the top off of the three-point game for her. She hadn't hit a three coming into this, or she hadn't taken a lot of threes, I should say. Now she's hit two here, 2 of 4, 50% beyond the arc.
Inside, a nice give for the basket. 72-39. Selland, left elbow now inside to Tyson, out to Meyer. Left side, three!
It's 11 of 21 beyond the arc for the Jackrabbits. An unfortunate run for USD.
Carson gives it now. Driving inside. A foul is going to be called on Brooklyn Meyer. Peyton Burkhardt going to come back in.
Yeah, you got to take Meyer out after that one. 4 fouls. You can't leave her in too much more. Not that the game is that close, so you need a lot of blocks, but
yeah, for sure. Well, a timeout on the floor. We will also take one as well. Thank you for listening to Jackrabbit Women's Basketball on KSDJ Radio.
This portion of KSDJ 90.7's broadcast is brought to you by Guadalajaras. Located at 1715 6th Street in the Village Square Mall, Guadalajaras specializes in authentic Mexican cuisine. Guadalajaras opens at 11 a.m. every day and closes at 10 p.m. Monday through Thursday, at 10:45 p.m. on Fridays and Saturdays, and at 9:30 p.m. on Sundays. Weekly margarita specials are offered Monday through Wednesday. Guadalajaras, a proud sponsor of KSDJ 90.7.
I spent a lot of time in the garage, but even more time in the rain and mud. In '95, I helped tow your moving trailer. And in '09, it was sparks from me, your chains, dragging behind your truck that accidentally started a wildfire.
Spark a change, not a wildfire. Visit SmokeyBear.com, brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service, your state forester, and the Ad Council.
Only you can prevent wildfires.
Uh-oh, Brad's buzzed.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, he's starting with the woots. And now a speech.
I just want to say that friendship is about heart and brain. Who's with me?
Good thing is, he knows when he's buzzed.
And my brain is saying, when it's time to go home, somebody call me a ride.
Love that guy.
Me too.
Know your buzzed warning signs? Call for a ride when it's time to go home. Buzz driving is drunk driving. A message from NHTSA and the Ad Council.
$75-39 is the score after the media timeout. At the line, Carly Duffney, shooting .853 so far this year. Coming into this game, she knocks down her first one. She remains perfect throughout, 3 for 3 on the game. 75-41 now, feet ahead to Tyson. Gives it Burkhardt, dribbling up towards the top. Selland now to Meyer. Paige Meyer dribbling with the left hand. Foul. Inside on Larkins.
It'll be Larkin's 4th foul.
And right on cue, Nicole Avila Ambrosi in for Larkins.
Good enough to save her from her foul trouble, but not the team. Jackrabbits. Never mind, that goes the other way.
Inside Selin, spin around, knocks it down. 77-41 now. The Jacks have hit 3 of their last 3 field goals. Avila Ambrosi, now it finds its way inside on the low block. Now out, a 3 ball coming from Duffney, no dice. Meyer to Burkhardt, left elbow, can't get it to go, a little bit off center. A foul, number 20, Carly Duffney, it's gonna be her 2nd.
It's kind of an unavoidable foul, just an unfortunate position for her. She was just underneath Tyson trying to go for the rebound, just gets called for being in the way, I guess.
Travel gonna be called on the inside. Veloston, I think that's the first travel for State this game.
She just got a little too excited looking down the lane. She was open down the lane if she got a one good move, and feet going before the ball.
Giebert gives it into Duffney. Driving with her right hand, she loses out of bounds. Picked up by a member of the dance team over there. And gives it to the referee, Nick Marshall. Burkhardt dribbling far sideline. Gives it, that was Meyer. Now gives it back to Burkhardt, back to Meyer. Had to catch up there.
There you go, a little bit of lag. It's a lot of action going on.
For sure. I'm only a student.
Even more action going on after both players kind of stumble and fall on top of each other out of bounds. Fortunately for SDSU, USD was the last one to touch the ball.
Meyer inbound. Velocity up top. Meyer now on the left side. Driving a little feed to. And now Meyer right for 3. She's dangerous from downtown, baby. Meyer, her 2nd 3-pointer of the game. Duffney bounces it into Avila Ambrosi. Step back, fade away. Going back irons off and finds its way down to Paige Meyer once again. Driving hard, off the glass and good.
Taking it, says she'll do it herself. Taking it down the near sideline, right down the left lane. Seemingly going around, cutting through 4 Coyote defenders.
82-41. Avila Ambrosi inside to Duffney. Foul called, a little bit of contact there.
Tyson thought she had an angle on the ball is what it looks like. And she kind of did, just got a little too ambitious maybe. Making a little extra contact where the referee said, you're not allowed to do that in my house.
Yep, so Callie Tyson gets called for the foul.
Her first.
Is now Duffney at the line. She knocks that one clean. Makes her 4 for 4. And she stays perfect on it. 5 for 5 as now Walker Demers comes in. 82-42. Meyer almost came over here to the press row. It barely hit. It almost hit the replay center. That would have been bad. What do we do without replay? Veloston inbounds to Brooklyn Meyer. It would be a lot more long and convoluted to try and get a replay pulled up. That's what we would do. Burkhardt can't corral it. It'll go out of bounds on the far sideline. Turnover by the Jacks. The Coyotes now will get another shot at it. 2 minutes and 20 seconds left to go in the third. 82-43. The Jacks have made 6 of their last 7. The Yotes have made 1 of their last 7. Stark contrast there, I would say.
Combine them, that's 7 for 7. Quick maths. Shaking his head, doesn't agree. All right.
I would have to agree because that's technically correct, but just because it's correct doesn't mean it's right.
I don't know how they would award those points either. Split them in half so that teams get half points.
Got to be fair here. Got to be fair. 82-43, a foul going to be on Walker Demers, her third. It's Callie Tyson now at the line. First one bounces off the back, and it bounces itself in.
That's her 5th make on 6 attempts at the line today.
Second one bounces it off, but Burkhardt gets the rebound and in. So I'd say that's a better outcome.
That's just how they drew it up, I think. I saw Aaron doing some sort of symbols with his hands. I think that's what that meant.
Yeah. 85-43. Vila Ambrosi, a give and go, and now it stood up at the basket. Timmer running hard, threads the needle off the glass, falls down, and that's good. No foul called, though, so back in transition, it's going to be Carson. Gives it over right side, a three not good from Vila Ambrosi, and now Burkhardt. Meyer coming down the sideline, finds Burkhardt, up and good for two. Jeez, man.
It's just a prediction. You would know what's going to happen.
Tongue twisters. I manifested it. Stolen away by Meyer. Coming across now. The crowd comes to life here in Frost. Timmer cuts inside, stops, puts up, and contact. Inside again on Demers. That's her 4th. And the Jacks are on a 7-0 run.
That'll be 4 players for USD that's in foul trouble here. I think we can call it that now.
Yes, we can.
Demers, who's currently on the floor with 4. Hansen and Larkins, all with 4 personal fouls.
Timmer at the line, knocks the first one in, and Kayla Karius electing to keep her in, at least for this moment, but it does look like Sophie Hayden from Shorewood, Minnesota, going to be coming in after the shot. Going to come in. Hayden, the 6'1" sophomore forward from Shorewood. She's a 5-year letter winner at Minnetonka High School. Stolen away by Timmer. Now contact near side right in front of the ref.
That's a pretty quick whistle, too.
It's going to be Macy Giebert. And that's Giebert's 4th now.
And the team's 5th in this quarter. 56 seconds left in the quarter, so not in the bonus for too long, but both teams currently in the bonus.
Duffney now coming in to replace Giebert. As Timmer will be at the line. 3 for 4 now.
Her first free throw miss today.
She has 16 points, no longer the team high or the game high. Peyton Burkhardt took that from her, but she ties it right back up. 17, both Burkhardt and Timmer have.
She's keeping track of how many points she has in her head.
Naturally.
She's got to make sure that she stays tied at least.
Yep. Hempy gives it to Carson, driving right baseline, out to Duffney. Tipped away, Mathewitz follows it out of bounds into the VIP seating right there on the far sideline. I think we should do a game from over there one time.
Get those chairs.
Yep.
We have to keep our head even more on the swivel than we do here.
Hey, that's what makes it fun. Timmer bounces inside Nelson, spinning around. Dead ball, gives it back up. Now Gilton. Inside Burkhardt, back door!
Wide open.
Exclamation point on it, 94-43. As Carson dribbles up, the shot clock is off, the clock down to 10. Dribbling screen set by Hayden. Going back towards the left side, 4-3, put up a prayer, down by Gilton, 1 second, a prayer. That one will hit off the backboard into the student section on the left side. And another great quarter from the Jacks. They're currently on a 12-0 run the last 2 minutes of the period.
Their best quarter by points at least. 30 in the first, 31 in the second, 33 in the third.
We just keep going up, 94-43. We still have a whole period left to go.
10 more minutes on the floor here.
We will be back here on KSDJ Radio right after this.
Accidents happen far too often and never at a convenient time. That's why Dave's Collision Repair Center is here to help. Their highly trained staff will help you by working with both you and the insurance company handling the claim. The staff at Dave's Collision takes pride in returning your vehicle to you in a timely manner and looking as good as it did before the accident. You'll find them at 1019 Main Avenue South or online at davescollision.com.
When you're high, you feel different. You think different, you talk different, you draw different, you listen to music different, but you probably knew that. Problem is, you also drive different, and not in a good way. That's why driving high is illegal everywhere. So if you're high, just don't drive. Make a plan to get a sober ride. Because if you feel different, you drive different. Brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
The SDSU pet band in the background, the dance team's on the floor.
Keeping this crowd in this contest, 94-43. SDSU had 61 in the first half. USD has yet to get to that 61 mark. Peyton Burkhart is doing a good job in and of her own mark here. She averages 10.7 points per game this season. Currently, she has 19, well above her mark. SDSU keeping it pretty tight with only 7 turnovers to USD. USD has tightened it up just a little bit since halftime, but still has 20 in the contest as play resumes on the floor.
And trust me, I am as big of Maya Sellen fan as you probably can be, as Larkin cuts inside and gives back out. But it's kind of nice to see some other people step up and maybe carry the team on their back a little bit. Larkin, step back 3 on the right wing.
Have some good games. You have some good games, you have some not so good games. Sometimes you have some great games. This is getting to that point where it's a great game.
And Maya Selland isn't bad. She has 18 points in her own right as a 3 ball comes off from the right baseline from Nelson. 16, my bad. 16 points for Selland.
It's still up there. Still third on the team, I think, in scoring.
Yep, and Tori Nelson has 7 of her own. On the inside, Sophie Hayden misses 1, and now Selland bounces it to Nelson, stopping, gives it back to Selland, shadowing the point. Now Burkhart inside. Gilton trying to catch the back door, can't now kick out Nelson. Right 3, side irons off and brought down by Hayden.
Lots of ball movement. You could tell they were trying to force it inside to Burkhart because I feel like they have an advantage there. They do, but finally get the shot out to Tori.
Hayden handoff to Carson. Now Duffney on the left.
Dribbles it off of her own shin, foot, somewhere in that vicinity. Ball goes back into the courtside seats. Jackrabbits will take over.
97-46, 8.5 minutes left to play in the fourth. Gilton dribbles it across the timeline now. Now at the point. Drives right down Broadway, gives it to Burkhart, now to Nelson. They reset, Gilton at the point. Pump fake. Pump fake again, now right baseline, Selling. I bet you can tell what happened.
Now she's tied for leading scorer in the game so far.
100 points, the Jacks have eclipsed it. 100-46, feet ahead, Gilton. Cuts, now up top, Burkhart. Right between the eyes.
They're having their own three-point contest on the Jacks offense here.
The Jacks are on fire. The Yotes call a timeout. 103-46. They've blown this baby wide open. We'll be back here on KSDJ Radio right after this.
Here's a fun fact for you. The average chameleon can point their eyes in 2 different directions. On the other hand, the average human can't. So unless you're a chameleon, There's absolutely no way you can focus on texting and driving at the same time. So don't do it. Unless you're a chameleon.
Visit StopTextsStopWrecks.org. A message brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, Project Yellow Light, and the Ad Council.
Walking into the building for the first time after the shooting, it was crippling, but it had to be preserved.
In response to the Pulse nightclub shooting that affected the LGBTQ community, Barbara Poma, owner of Pulse, founded the One Pulse Foundation to honor Pulse victims and survivors.
If you're an ally of this community, speak out. There are more of us together than apart. It is the power of love in its rawest form.
Join the fight for LGBTQ acceptance. Learn how at lovehasnolabels.com. Brought to you by Love Has No Labels and the Ad Council.
The Jacks, they're on fire right now. They're shooting 64% from three-point land, 15 of 26, 58% field goal shooting, 37 for 58. They have currently right now on the floor 4 players in double figures. Drew Gilton has 12, Haley Timmer has 17, Peyton Burkhardt has 22, Maya Selland has 19, and Tori Nelson is the only other one that's on the floor that is the only one on the floor that doesn't have double figures. She's knocking on the door.
Well, yeah, they're right there. They're playing all their starters, even up by as many points as they are. Interesting play by Aaron Johnson. 31 degrees outside. I'm going to say it's at least 103 in here.
Clever.
With how hot the Jacks are. Yeah, it's because the score that they have.
Score,
it's,
yeah. we wouldn't have had to explain it if it was on TV. But 103 to 46, tip away, Timmer all by herself. Stop underneath the basket, puts it up and off the glass.
23 turnovers in the contest for USD now.
11-0 run over the past $1.48. Larkin on the inside, spins around, will go out of bounds, and now the line change. Madison Mathewitz, Brooklyn Meyer, Paige Meyer, Callie Tyson, Maddie Velocin coming in as the starters come off to a huge ovation from this packed arena.
There's still a lot of fans in the arena, in the stadium, for such a large difference in score here.
And why not? It's the Yotes.
You might as well.
So first team foul for the Jacks of the third period going to be on Brooklyn Meyer, her 5th.
She'll foul out. There's 3 players currently on the floor for USD, right on that cusp as well.
Yep, and now the 6'2" sophomore forward, Mesa Byam, gets a shot at some playing time. She averages 4.3 minutes per game from Melrose, Wisconsin, and the shooter hits both of them. 105 to 48 now. Meyer, left wing, dribbles, reverses, back door, cutting, now kick out Velocin on the right, can't get it to go. Brought down Hempy, she gets the board. Spinning around and now gives it to Larkins. All the way going right to left on the dial. Demers gives it to Duffney. Bounces inside Demers. Spinning around off the glass and good. Demers now has 9 points. Pretty good game for the freshman. Meyer. Inside Tyson. Bounces as she's going down, gives it to Byam. She can't get it to go, cannot overpower Demers. And the Jacks are going to inbound with 12 seconds on the shot clock. Near side, gives it to Meyer. Paige Meyer dancing at the point. Double teamed and now coming around the right. Baseball pass, Velocin with 3 on the clock. Knocks it down.
That will be the 16th three-pointer for the Jacks today. Current record for Jacks basketball is 16 three-pointers in a game. One more will put them over the top.
One more to beat it. 108 to 50. Inside to Mers, in the paint, spinning around, gets denied. Gets the ball back and out to Larkins, shadowing the point. 4-3, 2 on the shot clock, puts it up and good. Wow, that was a nice last second desperation.
Get the ball off just before the whole backboard lights up. Gets the 2 points.
108-52, Tyson. Moves it all the way by him, now down to Mathewitz, cutting, stopping, 3. Nope, she's gonna go ahead and take the jumper. It's brought down by Byam though. Mesa Byam gets it out to Velostin. Meyer standing outside, tried to get it into Tyson. It gets picked off by Larkins, coming back the opposite way. Driving, bounces into Duffney, and a foul is going to be called on Paige Meyer.
Paige Meyer just got turned around a little bit in that right lane. Didn't completely know where the last offensive player was. Turns around and runs straight into her.
Yep, well, Paige Meyer will come out of the game, as will Callie Tyson, Reagan Nesheim, and Ellie Kolbeck will come in for the Jacks. Duffney at the line, and she knocks that down, makes her 8 for 8 on the night. She has 14. Kolbeck gives it to Byam. Spinning around now, Velostin and Nesheim. Back to Velostin on the left side, Mathewitz. Fakes and drives inside out. Velostin for a long 3, knocks it down! And that's for the record. 17 three-pointers in one game. For the Jackrabbits.
And it wasn't just one person making all these three-pointers. It's spread around. Maya has 3. Peyton Burkhardt has 2. Tori Nelson has 1. Haley Timmer has 3. Drew Gilton has 3.
Mathewitz on the inside. Velostin spinning around. Can't get it to go. It back irons off. That's going to be a foul on Carly Duffney. And it's going to be a timeout. I think they're going to go ahead and do a line switch, but they aren't going to take it. We'll step aside with them really quick. You're listening to Jackrabbit Women's Basketball on KSDJ.
This portion of KSDJ 90.7's broadcast is brought to you by Guadalajaras. Located at 1715 6th Street in the Village Square Mall, Guadalajaras specializes in authentic Mexican cuisine. Guadalajaras opens at 11 a.m. every day and closes at 10 p.m. Monday through Thursday, at 10:45 p.m. on Fridays and Saturdays, and at 9:30 p.m. on Sundays. Weekly margarita specials are offered Monday through Wednesday. Guadalajaras, a proud sponsor of KSDJ 90.7.
I spent a lot of time in the garage, but even more time in the rain and mud. In '95, I helped tow your moving trailer. And in '09, it was sparks from me, your chains, dragging behind your truck that accidentally started a wildfire.
Spark a change, not a wildfire. Visit SmokeyBear.com, brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service, your state forester, and the Ad Council.
Only you can prevent wildfires.
Brooklyn Meyer sits down, 2 rebounds shy of her 8th career double-double. She has 7 currently. 22 points, 10 for 16 from the field, 2 for 5 from three-point land, had 8 rebounds and 4 assists. So 2 rebounds and 6 assists shy of a triple-double.
A really effective game from Burkhardt. If only we could count minutes played as a stat for triple-doubles.
Yeah, and the Jackrabbits currently have a school record, 17 three-pointers in one game. As Maddie Velostin at the line to shoot free throws. The first one is good. Her first free throw of the game. And now she's 2 for 2. She has 11. 113 to 55. And we're nearing just 6 points away from the single game scoring record for the Jackrabbits, which is 119 points.
With 4 minutes to do it still.
Avila Ambrosi gives it back to Carson. Shot clock at 6 for the Yotes. Driving inside, off the glass. No good. It gets blocked a little bit, tipped a little bit, I should say. Byam gives it to Kolbeck. Now stopping on the near sideline. Dribbling with her right hand. Over Velostin. Now Mathewitz, right side. Cutting inside, bounces to Byam. She can't grab it, but she finally gets it, turns around and puts it in.
That's an extra 50 cents right there for the spin cycle.
115 to 55. 3.5 minutes left to go in the fourth.
4 points. 5 points to break it.
Carson dribbling and backing up. Driving, Mathewitz coming back. Velostin gives it over to Kolbeck. Right side, driving the baseline. Too hard over the basket. It'll fall down. Nessheim will come up with it. Gives it to Byam. Velostin all the way down right to left on the dial. And Mathewitz will end up traveling.
The Jaguar women set a single game 3-point record for SDSU with 17.
Announcing the single game record for that. $115 to 55. The Jacks currently on a 7-0 run. That's going to be stuffed. Kolbeck. Now Nessheim has it. Mathewitz.
Number 33, Sophie Hayden, her first, second team foul.
$115 for the Jacks.
So Hayden gets her first foul now. Mathewitz. Left side, Velostin for 3. Can't get it to go. Back irons off. Kolbeck tries to bring it down. She falls on the ground, as does Morgan Hansen. Buck 56 left to go, 115 to 55 for the Jacks. Mathewitz, left wing. Driving, stops, and tried to get it off the glass. Foul is called as the basket does not go in.
A laser beam of a shot. There was absolutely no arc in that basketball. Going up into the glass and coming back down into the rim. Scoops all the way around, but doesn't stay in the basket.
Avila Ambrosi gets her first personal foul, 4th team, and that shot by Mathewitz is good. Mathewitz has only 1 point, now is 1 for 1. Gets her own rebound though. Kolbeck for 3. Back irons off, it almost goes in. Byam off the glass and good. 118 is the score to 55. 1.5 minutes left to go.
Jacks are on an 8-0 run here to end what is a 10-0 run with the last basket. Internet not updating.
Not as fast, yep. 118-55. You're listening to Jackrabbit Women's Basketball. We will step aside here. And we'll be back right after this.
Uh-oh, Brad's buzzed.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, he's starting with the woots. And now a speech.
I just want to say that friendship is about heart and brain. Who's with me?
Good thing is, he knows when he's buzzed.
And my brain is saying, when it's time to go home, somebody call me a ride.
Love that guy.
Me too.
Know your buzzed warning signs? Call for a ride when it's time to go home. Buzz driving is drunk driving. A message from NHTSA and the Ad Council.
Accidents happen far too often and never at a convenient time. That's why Dave's Collision Repair Center is here to help. Their highly trained staff will help you by working with both you and the insurance company handling the claim. The staff at Dave's Collision takes pride in returning your vehicle to you in a timely manner and looking as good as it did before the accident. You'll find them at 1019 Main Avenue South or online at davescollision.com.
118-55, the Jacks currently on a 10-0 run. Just 1 point shy of the single game scoring record of 108. Just over a minute left to go. On the backside is Nicole Avila Ambrosi.
Breaks the scoring drought of 3.5 minutes for USD.
Yep, and her first points of the game. Kolbeck at the top now. Nessheim gets it to Mathewitz, left baseline. Spinning around. Kolbeck on the right side, shadowing the point, gets it out to Byam. Cutting inside. Mathewitz, left side three. Can't get it to go. It'll fall down, and it'll be kept inside by the Yotes.
No hesitation on that three-pointer either. She's shooting for the record.
Avila Ambrosi gets it inside to Hayden. Coming all the way around to Duffney on the left side, inside to Hansen. She knocks down a two. 25 seconds left. Shot clock is now off. Kolbeck dribbling near side, and they're just going to dribble it out. They dribble it and stand on the court. The coaches get up to greet each other. The Jackrabbits are welcomed home to another win.
And this one's going to feel good over our in-state rival, especially one that sent you out of the NCAA tournament last year.
118-59. The Jackrabbits improve to 7-0 in Summit League play. The Coyotes drop to 4-3. We'll go ahead and take a break here, 118-59, and when we come back, we'll have some analysis, take a look at some of the numbers, and hopefully get you final attendance here. You're listening to Jackrabbit Women's Basketball on KSDJ.
When you're high, you feel different. You think different, you talk different, you draw different, you listen to music different, but you probably knew that. Problem is, you also drive different, and not in a good way. That's why driving high is illegal everywhere. So if you're high, just don't drive. Make a plan to get a sober ride. Because if you feel different, you drive different. Brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
I was in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean when it happened. There was a sudden jolt and our submarine crashed on the seafloor. We were in total darkness.
That's Dr. Dejana Figueroa, a marine biologist and STEM teacher, talking about a deep sea dive she'll never forget.
It's funny, when I was a kid, I was afraid of the ocean, and there I was, 2 miles below the surface. But as a scientist, you prepare for that. Using our training and a little creativity, we fixed the sub and finished our experiments. The dive was just too important. Every dive gives us glimpses at things few people ever get to see. Glowing creatures, fiery undersea volcanoes. When we got back to the surface, I kissed the ground and called my mom, of course. But you know what? I wouldn't trade that dive for anything.
Dr. Figueroa uses her passion for STEM to discover new things and make the world a better place. She can STEM, so can you. Check out She Can STEM for more stories and inspiration. A message from the Ad Council.
When you're high, you feel different. You think different, you talk different, you draw different, you listen to music different, but you probably knew that. Problem is, you also drive different, and not in a good way. That's why driving high is illegal everywhere. So if you're high, just don't drive. Make a plan to get a sober ride. Because if you feel different, you drive different. Brought to
Here's a fun fact for you. The average chameleon can point their eyes in 2 different directions. On the other hand, the average human can't. So unless you're a chameleon, there's absolutely no way you can focus on texting and driving at the same time. So don't do it, unless you're a chameleon.
Visit StopTextsStopWrecks.org. A message brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, Project Yellow Light, and the Ad Council.
The South Dakota State Jackrabbits defend home court today against an in-state rival, 118-59, coming up just 1 point short of the all-time single-game scoring record for women's basketball. And they do it in front of 3,136 of Jackrabbit Nation. Welcome into the Jackrabbit post-game show. Glad to have you along with us here on KSDJ Radio. Could not have had a more exciting game in terms of the crowd, the atmosphere, everything like that, but definitely wasn't close.
No, 59 points, I believe, is the quick math. 59, 118.
Yeah, quite literally, if you are correct, here, let me just check. Yeah. Doubled them up.
There we go. Perfect. Just how we were talking about it the whole game. Double them up.
Yep, and had they would have gotten to that scoring record, it would have been 60 points. Think about that. 60 points.
Well, they were just about on pace to stay for their doubling their first half score.
You know, when I said they were on pace to score 122, I did not think that it would actually get there.
It was mostly a joke when you said it, yeah.
It's just a thing announcers say. It's just something to talk about, but they really showed out today. They really, really showed out today. Well, Paul's currently working on some stats. You pretty well done there?
We're ready to go, I think.
All right.
We're going to give a quick run through.
Yep, hand it over to you.
Taking a look at South Dakota first. The one without a state, the red one. Just in case you were wondering. Their top three scorers had 14, 10, and 9. With 14 points, Carly Dunphy was their leading scorer. She played for a total of 31 minutes and 27 seconds, and she got her 14 points on 3 of 7 shooting. 0 of 1 from the three-point line, but she did have 8 free throws that she made. Carly also had 4 fouls. She was riding that line, but to getting ejected, thrown out. She was not alone with that, but we'll get to the players who were also
ejected.
It's asked to leave. I don't.
Asterisk.
It's a too many fouls.
Yeah.
It's not a thrown out.
No.
The Coyotes' second leading scorer with 10 points was Grace Larkins. She played for 17 minutes and 8 seconds and got her 10 points on 3 of 10 shooting. She took 3 behind the arc, and 1 of them went in, and she had 3 free throws that she made out of 3 that she took. She also had 4 personal fouls. The third leading scorer for the Coyotes was Walker Demers with 13 minutes and 38 seconds in the game, recorded game time, 9 total points on 4 of 5 shooting, 0 3-pointers attempted and made. She did make 1 free throw, and she also joins the 4 personal foul club. Other Coyotes also on the 4 personal foul club: Morgan Hansen, Macy Gubert, along with Walker Demers, Grace Larkins, and Carly Dunphy. The Coyotes had 23 total turnovers in this game. Jacks were able to convert on those 23 turnovers and turn them into 39 points. Coyotes were able to put their points together on 19 of 54 shooting, 35.2%. Of those 54 shots that they took, 18 were beyond the arc. They made 5 of them, 27.8%. Coyotes remained perfect on free throws, on 16 of 16. Moving into the Jackrabbits for offense, they had their largest run of 17 to 0 points, which definitely helped them. They didn't need a whole lot of extra help in this game. 17-0 run for the Jacks. Their leading scorers, we're going to go through 3 of them, 22, 19, and 19. Their first leading scorer, main leading scorer, Peyton Burkhart, in the game, 23 minutes and 49 seconds. Got her 22 points on 10 of 16 shooting from the field. Of those 16 shots, 5 beyond the arc, connecting on 2 of them. Went to the free throw line in 1 trip, took 1 shot, and missed. Maya Selland and Haley Timmer tied for the second leading scorer for the Jacks with 19 points each. Maya Selland in the game for 25 minutes and 39 seconds, 7 of 10 shooting from the field, 3 of 5 from the three-point arc, and she connected on 2 of her 3 free throws. Haley Timmer with 19 points played for 21 minutes and 25 seconds of this game. 6 of 7 from the field, 3 of 3 behind the arc, and 4 of 5 from the free throw line. Another important stat to mention here for the Jacks, they had 2 players with large numbers of uncharacteristically large numbers of blocks. Kelly Tyson finished the contest with 4 total blocks for the Jackrabbit defense, and her counterpart, Brooklyn Meyer, also finished the contest with 3 blocks. Jackrabbits had 9 total, those 2 players accounting for 7 of them. The Jacks only had 9 total turnovers on offense. Pretty clean game overall. USD was able to turn those 9 turnovers into 10 total points. SDSU finished the game shooting 42 of 70 from the field for 60%. Of those 70 shots, 32 beyond the arc, 17 connected for a total of 53.1%. Jackrabbits, not the best day at the free throw line today. Shooting 26 free throws, only making 17. 65.4% for the Jacks. Score by quarter, USD 14, 16, 13, and then 16, totaling 59 total points. SDSU, on the other hand, had 30 points in the first quarter, 31, 33, and then trailed off a little bit down to 24 in the fourth, combining for a total 118 points in this game, 1 shy of SDSU scoring record. Your final score here, 59 to 118, South Dakota State over South Dakota.
Well, thank you, Paul. We'll go ahead and step aside once again. When we come back, we'll take a look around the Summit League and around other Jackrabbit athletics. You're listening to Jackrabbit Women's Basketball on KSDJ Radio.
If you're worried your friend may be struggling, remember, you don't have to be there to be there.
You could say, how are you, or get a fake tattoo. You can ask with an app if it works for you. You could write them a text or knit them a sweater. If you can't be together, you could write them a letter. Whatever gets you talking. Whatever gets you talking. You could chat on the game, kick off your flip-flops. You could ask on your couch while you binge watch. However you do it, you gotta ask a friend. And if they don't share, you can ask again. Whatever gets you talking. Whatever gets you talking.
Reach out to a friend about their mental health. Learn how you can help at seizetheawkward.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council, American Foundation for Suicide Prevention, and the JED Foundation.
This portion of KSDJ 90.7's broadcast is brought to you by Guadalajara's. Located at 1715 6th Street in the Village Square Mall, Guadalajara specializes in authentic Mexican cuisine. Guadalajara's opens at 11 a.m. every day and closes at 10 p.m. Monday through Thursday, at 10:45 p.m. on Fridays and Saturdays, and at 9:30 p.m. on Sundays. Weekly margarita specials are offered Monday through Wednesday. Guadalajara's, a proud sponsor of KSDJ 90.7.
I spent a lot of time in the garage, but even more time in the rain and mud. In 95, I helped tow your moving trailer. And in 09, it was sparks from me, your chains, dragging behind your truck that accidentally started a wildfire.
Spark a change, not a wildfire. SmokeyBear.com, brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service, your state forester, and the Ad Council.
Only you can prevent wildfires.
South Dakota State goes the distance and beats in-state rival USD 118-59. I want to thank you guys for listening to this one. It's time to take a look at all the rest of Jackrabbit Athletics happening today. Today, the opening of the track and field season. Hard to believe we're already there.
It's inside track.
Inside track, yeah, but
yes.
still. They're up in Fargo taking a part in the Bison Team Cup. Of course, this game right here, 118-59 final. Wrestling is out in Hampton, Virginia, taking part in the Hampton Duels. Yesterday, they wrestled Navy, and I forget who else yesterday, in Utah Valley. That's right. Oh, no, I'm looking at the wrong thing. Yeah, they wrestled Navy and Kent State. That's right. There we go. I knew I'd get it somewhere.
There were two teams. You just knew that you knew there were two teams.
Yeah, and I knew there were 3 teams, and I knew there were 4 teams, and 2 of them were the Jackrabbits. Anyway, math. Again, math, my guy, math.
Yeah.
Currently right now, they are wrestling Campbell, the Campbell Camels. And at the end of 7 matches, South Dakota State leads 29-3. And then later on tonight, they are going to be wrestling the Ohio Bobcats at 3 p.m. Central Time. You can watch that on flowwrestling.org. And then, of course, the big one tonight in Vermilion at the Sanford Jackrabbit. That's not right. The Sanford Coyote Sports Center.
That one basketball court down in Vermilion.
Down in Vermilion.
Yeah.
The men will be playing the South Dakota Coyotes at 6 p.m. You can watch that on Midco Sports, or you can listen to it on the Jackrabbit Sports Network. We will not be down there. And I would guess you would be able to listen to KAOR radio.
Student station in Vermilion?
Yes. So I think they're going to have it on there. So tune into that if you want the student perspective of it from, of course, it would be USD, but still good people. Still good people.
Still radio and still basketball. They still have to talk about SDSU at least part of the time, right?
Exactly. At least half. At least we like to say half. This was more than half.
This was
anyway.
Definitely more than half.
Anyway, let's go ahead and take a look around the Summit League. We'll start with the women. North Dakota beat Denver 68-57. The Fighting Hawks come out of there with a win in Grand Forks. St. Thomas edges out Oral Roberts 76-75 in St. Paul. North Dakota State beats Omaha 83-71. Jackrabbits will play Omaha next. We'll get to that later. And South Dakota State 118 over South Dakota with 59. Currently with the men's side, North Dakota State beat Omaha 78-65, and that one is final. And North Dakota currently trailing Denver 42-46 down in the Mile High City. That is just the start of the second half. At 6 o'clock, SDSU versus USD, and St. Thomas versus Oral Roberts in Tulsa, and Western Illinois versus Kansas City in Kansas City, Missouri. Nice dance moves.
There we go. It's the stadium music.
Yeah, for sure. Now let's take a look at who both teams will play up next. The Coyotes drop to 8-10 overall, 4-3 in the Summit League. They will go ahead and play the Pioneers of Denver in Denver on January 19th, next Thursday, I do believe that is. Of course, Denver losing to the aforementioned Fighting Hawks 68-57. And they are now 7-10, excuse me, in Summit League play. The Jackrabbits are going to play the Omaha Mavericks. As I said, got beat by North Dakota State 71-83. So judging by things in the past, it shouldn't be too much of a challenge. Omaha is now 8-9 and 4th in the Summit League. So I think that about wraps it up for today. And
fantastic game by Burkhart, Timmer, and Sellen.
Yeah, for sure.
And the whole the Jackrabbits team as a whole, definitely.
Falling 1 point short of the all-time scoring record. From all of us here at KSDJ Radio, our advisors, Jim Helen, Brian Stemwedel, for Paul Monson, I'm Braden Byer saying so long. The Jackrabbits beat their in-state rival 118-59 in front of 3,136 people of Jackrabbit Nation. That's your final score, and we hope you have a great rest of your day, great rest of your weekend, and we will see you probably on Thursday. Good night, everybody.